In the world's warehouse of conspiracy theories, 2024 was a banner year. Nonsense became the new normal in politics, science, international affairs, sports, and so much more. Our capacity to believe almost anything has only grown since the days of speculation about the Bermuda Triangle, the moon landing, the assassination of JFK, and what really happened to Elvis, Hitler, Earhart, and others. But those conspiracy theories cannot compete with the biggest one of all, locked away in a massive chest for more than 300 years. It tried to erase most of human history, including its art and literature. Let's look inside to see for ourselves the world's biggest conspiracy theory. This conspiracy box belonged to Jean Ardouin, a Jesuit priest called a genius by some and a madman by others. Born in 17th century France, he achieved an early reputation as a fine historian and numismatist. But while studying the coins of King Herod the Great, Ardouin began to doubt the ancient history he had long been taught. He convinced himself that years earlier, in the 13th century, a sinister and secretive band of lawyers, linguists, poets, and doctors had made up almost everything about the pre-medieval world. Thousands of years were allegedly a lie. Ardouin blamed what he called a pestiferous gang of misguided monks for perpetrating this colossal hoax. They were supposedly led by a shadowy figure named Severus Archontius. Whole libraries of ancient works were allegedly forged and fabricated. It became the duty of Ardouin to examine all of ancient literature and to expose the fakes. The Aeneid of Virgil, concocted, he said, by a Benedictine monk. Horace's odes, faked. The poetry of Pindar and Sappho, never real. The speeches of Demosthenes and the biographies of Plutarch, all bogus. On and on he read and ranted about the ridiculous ruse that reduced hallowed antiquity to a mere fable. In time, Ardouin denounced all of the so-called classics, except for a few privileged authors, including Homer, Herodotus, the Roman playwright Plautus, and his favorite, the elder Pliny. These few met his standards for stylish writing worthy of literary greatness. All the rest were judged artless and clumsy. So, for modern readers of the Loeb Classical Library, a collection of major ancient texts originally written in Greek with green covers or in Latin with red covers, Ardouin's views would wipe out nearly everything on our shelves. He would have us go from 558 volumes to fewer than 25. This was the ultimate conspiracy theory, and Ardouin did not stop there. He also condemned the Talmud as fake and accused the conspirators of sneaking references to their forgeries into each other's works to create a web of reinforcing lies. They also invented the necessary physical evidence to flesh out their fantasy world: fake coins, inscriptions, and artworks that were salted into the ground. Ardouin's paranoia about the past bordered on the pathological. Relentlessly, he jackhammered the very foundations of Western civilization. A few of his contemporaries believed him, but most called him crazy, and his books were banned by the Catholic Church. He was forced to renounce his theory, but kept hinting at it until his death. One of his critics published this memorial of the man and his mission. In expectation of the judgment here lies the most paradoxical of men, by nature a Frenchman, by religion a Roman, the portent of the literary world, the worshipper and the destroyer of venerable antiquity. Fevered with learning, he woke to publish dreams and thoughts unheard of. He was pious in his skepticism, a child in credulity, a youth in rashness, an old man in madness. Jean Ardouin had taken the skeptical spirit of the true scholar too far. Yes, there were forged documents, coins, and artworks all over 17th century Europe, and it was right to root them out. But all of ancient culture could hardly be the product of a secret conspiracy. It was just too big to be true. And yet his theory persists in odd forms even today, such as the doctrine of the New Chronology, which holds that all of ancient history actually happened during the Middle Ages. For example, Jesus really lived in the 12th century CE, and the Trojan War was actually the Crusades. Meddlesome medieval monks merely made up antiquity from events of their own time. Certainly the funniest of copycat conspiracies was this satirical post in The Onion, suggesting tongue-in-cheek that some bored modern scholars invented everything about the ancient Greeks. These pedants got together and made up the civilization of Socrates and Aristotle, columned architecture and Euclidean geometry, the Olympics, and oligarchy. One member of the group even complained about spending an entire summer building the Parthenon in case anyone went looking for it. This sort of thing was no joke 300 years ago, but certainly worth a good laugh today. Do you suppose that someone will someday turn our conspiracy theories into the satirical comedy of 2325? You know, have you heard the one about Joe Biden on a Ukrainian rocket with JFK that all went missing on the dark side of the moon? They were looking for Elvis at the time, unaware that Trump had hidden the singer at Mar-a-Lago under a crate of spy balloons and Martian drones. I'm Dr. Frank L. Holt, and I promise I'm as real as the rest of these guys. We invite you to please click that little red button in the lower right-hand corner to subscribe to this channel. It's free, of course, and it keeps us from moving into a cardboard box in the world's warehouse of conspiracy theories.